Hey guys, it's Matt Higgins. So today I want to do a review of Star Wars Battlefront 2 now that it's been out for about 3 weeks. But first, we should acknowledge that The Last Jedi is going to be coming out here in less than a week. So I think you guys know what that means. That means a prequel references video is coming. And it's been almost a year since the last one. So one thing to note though is that I will be on social media blackout starting tomorrow, December the 9th, because that is when the world premiere of The Last Jedi is, which means that there will be press at the event reviewing the movie and things will start to leak out. I do not want to know. I want to come in mostly with a clean slate. I haven't been watching a lot of the TV spots lately, but I know there's been some stuff going on with those, and I'm trying to avoid them as much as I can. So you guys probably won't hear from me much after Saturday, and you should expect the next video probably to be a little bit over a week after this one, and that will be the prequel references video, so stay tuned for that. Very excited to make another one. I know that's how I kicked my channel off, and I can't believe it's been practically 2 years since The Force Awakens came out, so look forward to that here coming up in the next week. So with that, let's get into Battlefront 2. I'm going to structure this review by reviewing all three aspects of the game. That would be the single player, the multiplayer, and the arcade modes. So starting off with the single player campaign review, I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything like that, so don't worry about that. I had a chance to play the campaign through straight. It took me about 6 hours or so. I read the Inferno Squad book before I played the campaign, which was very helpful in getting to know these characters. I really enjoyed the story overall for the campaign. I know there's some complaints from some people about it, and I understand why they have those complaints, but certain parts of the campaign that bothered people did not bother me at all. I actually thought it was excellent because we get a little bit more insight into where the First Order came from. Also, we get more of that Imperial perspective that we got in the Lost Stars novel, which is a great book. You should read it if you haven't already. But Iden Versio is a very strong character. I also really liked Del and Gideon's characters. They were more human than I expected them to be. I kind of expected them to just be kind of pushover characters, but they actually have a lot to do with the story. So one thing I really liked about the campaign was how they tied it into existing canon comics, like the Leia comic. We visit Naboo during one of the sequences in the campaign, and it's actually really cool. You get to fight an AT-AT that's marching on the Royal Palace on Theed. That's pretty freaking cool. And to see Naboo later on in the canon is amazing. And also there's a little bit of a Padme hint in there too. I'm not going to give away too much, but for those of you I know who are astute followers of Padme, there's some nuggets in there for you. The second big thing about the campaign that I really, really liked was the integration of the heroes. I think that they really balanced it well between how much you were playing as Inferno Squad and how much you were playing as some of the heroes from the movies like Lando and Han and Leia. You get to play as all of them, which is excellent, and they all tie into the story very, very well. You also meet another character named Shriv, he's he's a character. He's actually really funny. Probably my favorite character from the campaign. Yeah, flat out did a phenomenal job with him in the writing. So the one drawback, wouldn't even say it's really a drawback for me with the campaign, was that it doesn't end when you finish it. They are releasing more missions with the new seasons coming out, which that's awesome that they're continuing the campaign. So it's not like, okay, here you go, here's the campaign, play it through, you're done. You have more to look forward to with each of the seasons, which is awesome. But it's kind of a drawback because when you finish the campaign, you want to continue to play and learn more about the characters. So, and the way that the main campaign leaves you off leaves you wanting more. Let's just leave it at that. But overall, though, the campaign was really good. Really enjoyed it. Excellent writing. There were a couple of prequel references in there too. I really like that kind of thing, obviously. Go ahead and play it if you haven't already. It's really good. But I would recommend reading the Inferno Squad book before you play the campaign. Alright, so addressing the multiplayer, I know there's been a lot of controversy around the multiplayer, and I'm going to get to that here in a second, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare and contrast between the first Battlefront, the 2015 one, and Battlefront 2 about what I liked that they changed. The first thing that I liked that Battlefront 2 did, obviously, was bring in all three eras. Star Wars is one universe. Let's get all the eras in. It really helps add to the diversity of the game in terms of the locations, as well as the abilities and heroes and stuff like that, which I know there was a lot of complaints with the first game about a lack of content. I think that having all of the eras helps to address that issue. This new Battlefront really, really does have a lot more depth than the original game. And that leads me into my next point, which is about bringing classes into Battlefront. That was a very good decision. I really wasn't a fan of Battlefront 1 having no class system. You could load out your character to specialize in a certain area. Like if you wanted to, stay back and snipe, you could. If you wanted to be up there with like a shotgun or something, you can do that. But there was no distinct class system and start cards for that class. Now with the new Battlefront, we have distinct classes. You can specialize, and you can continue to specialize further. That is where the original Battlefront fell flat, was because, sure, you could load out like a sniper or an assault class, but you couldn't really continue to get better. Like you couldn't get better weapons or better start cards that way. So this is a much better way to do that with the new start card system. The third thing I want to talk about that Battlefront 2 did a lot better than Battlefront 1 was Starfighter Assault. I don't know what it was with the Starfighters in the original Battlefront, but they felt really slow and clunky and had horrible turning radius. They just felt awful. They handled awful. I was really bad at it and actively avoided flying as much as I could. I occasionally tried it and did get a little bit better as I played, but I was always getting destroyed the entire time, so... with the new Battlefront, though, the ships feel amazing. It's like night and day difference. I don't know what they did, but whatever they did, it works. Actually, it's funny because I am now, I would say, better at flying starfighters than I am at being a soldier on the ground. When I fly in Star Wars, I typically like to fly in the first person because of that sense of realism and simulation, but you were at a disadvantage because you didn't have the same field of vision as playing in third person. So even in this game, I feel a lot better flying in first person, and I still do, and I don't really feel like I'm at a disadvantage. So now I actually actively seek Starfighter assault modes, and you'll see me sometimes in gameplay. Maybe in the future I'll upload. There's a little bit in this gameplay too that you're seeing right now where, if I get enough battle points, I'll go ahead and hop in a V-Wing or a droid tri-fighter or something like that. I'm not as afraid of flying in Star Wars Battlefront as I used to be. Overall, though, this game really felt like what Battlefront 1 should have been. I think they spent so much time with getting the visuals right and the audio right in the first Battlefront, which they did a phenomenal job of, that they didn't really flesh out the content as much, and they had to cut things out and push things back. I know that Starfighter Assault in Battlefront 1 is a huge example of this. So as a whole, Battlefront 2's multiplayer is very enjoyable, and much more enjoyable, I think, than the first Battlefront, which I played a lot of. I put over 160 hours into that game, so that tells you how much I really enjoy Battlefront 2, I guess. I don't have too many complaints with the multiplayer. The only thing about the multiplayer that I'm not a fan of is the cross-era heroes, and I know they don't have enough heroes to really do that, but it does take you out of the experience a little bit when you do see Kylo Ren on Kashyyyk or Leia on Kamino. Something seems out of place, especially as a Star Wars fan. But I will say I was concerned about this well before the game even came out, back when E3, when we first saw the Assault on Theed gameplay, but it doesn't bother me as much when I'm playing the game. And this is mostly because I'm focused on what I'm doing and not what the hero's doing. And in the Starfighter Assault, you don't even really notice that much. I would say when the Millennium Falcon's flying around, it stands out, so you're going to notice that. But like Darth Vader's TIE Fighter or Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer, those ships you're like barely going to notice when you're playing Starfighter Assault. If you watch my other gameplay video, you'll see I take out the Millennium Falcon. But other than that, it doesn't really bother me that much. Not as much as I really expected it to. Alright, so getting to the elephant in the room here. The loot crate system, there was a lot of complaining about it right before the game came out. I started playing the game at midnight on that Friday the 17th when the standard edition released. And I would tell you this. I didn't notice the play to win mechanic. Sure, it was there originally, in the beta and stuff, but like I don't really know. People play 20 hours in a week. They're going to get to those high levels. So, I mean, to me, it's like, how can you distinguish whether they bought the loot crates or not? And even now, like, I'm still playing the game, and I'm not noticing, like, that everyone's, like, just absolutely killing me, And the star cards are advantageous for you to have, and they will help you win firefights. But being smart on the Battlefront is just as important as the star cards that you have equipped. I can tell you this, I have beat players who have legendary star cards for whatever class they're playing as, and I've killed them before. It happens. I think the whole loot crate thing was taken way out of proportion. Star Wars fans, as we all know, love to just rail on things if they are absolutely not perfect. We are extremely hard to please, and I think sometimes we are just downright rude. And I really think that was the scenario with this game. I'm not really sure if everybody understands that if they want to have free DLC for the game, that there needs to be some way for them to continue to make revenue. Obviously, the game is not going to stay at $60 for 2 years. That just won't happen. And they're not going to sell enough copies for them to make enough revenue to continue to support post-launch content. So they're going to have to do it one way or another, whether it's through buying a season pass for $60 or whether it's through microtransactions. And I know a lot of people don't like microtransactions because it can be paid to win. But the thing is that it's a lot better than a season pass. And I'm not saying the season passes were bad, but I think this is a better scheme because with the original Battlefront, they separated the community base because of the season pass. Because you get put in games where you are playing with people who have the same DLC as you. So if you have all the DLC in the season pass, you're playing with those people. If you have none of the DLC, you're playing with those people. If you have half the DLC or one of the DLC, you're playing with those people. And that really splits up the player base, and then you start to see the amount of players diminish over time, and the game dies off faster. So having microtransactions, I think, actually is a much better idea than having the season pass. And for people like me who just want to play the game and don't really want to buy anything, it saves me $60, $50-$60, in the long run. So I think it is a way better idea to do microtransactions that way. But I'm not giving them a free ride on this. I think it still could have been implemented better. I think either by turning down the amount of stuff you could get from the loot crates. I know you couldn't get all of it, but you could get a pretty good amount of it from buying loot crates. I really wanted them to do the loot crates and the microtransactions with customization. And I know that's where kind of the community's at right now, because I would actually buy that. If it's just like stuff in the game that I can unlock, I'm not going to go out and buy it with my own money. I'm going to work to get in the game. If it's customization stuff that you can only buy, I would totally buy it. I used to play a lot of Black Ops 2, and they had the camo packs. I bought those for like $1 or $2. Those were really cool, and I really liked them. I would definitely spend money on that, and I think that they would actually make more money that way. So that's what I would like to see them do if they bring that back. But I think overall, people were getting way wound up over this. It's not that big of a deal, folks. Just let it go and enjoy the game. Alright, so to the last mode, which is the arcade mode, the amount of offline content compared to Battlefront 1 is a lot better in this game. There is still more that they could add to it, and I think the big thing that I really want them to add is just a Starfighter game mode. You have a basic team deathmatch type of game mode that you can play offline on any map as any faction, which is excellent, and there's a lot of customization for the settings and stuff, so you can make games that are shorter or longer, etc. but I really want them to add starfighters because that's not present at the moment. I haven't played any of the custom scenarios yet. I would like to do that, but you have to play them in order. So I will get to that at some point. But it seems like they are going to continue to expand this much more than they did with the original Battlefront, because the offline modes for Battlefront came out, I think it was well over a year after it released. So they should continue to support the arcade mode with future releases. In terms of the overall quality of the game, it's a very well designed game. Visuals, audio, excellent. It makes me melt. It's the same beautiful stuff that we hear in the movies. My favorite visual audio part of this game is the droid tri-fighters. They look and sound amazing. Absolutely perfect. All of the ships sound really good, but they nailed the sound. DICE does an excellent job with this, and obviously Star Wars does too. And combining those two together, it's like a perfect sandwich. So to wrap things up here, I really like this game, and I'm going to be playing it for quite a long time. And we'll see how these DLC seasons come out. The Last Jedi season is going to be coming out here within the next week, and I'm looking forward to playing on Crate and checking that out. But they're obviously going to add more, so I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I was having a discussion with a friend the other day about what we thought they would do, and I thought maybe what they'll do is they'll do seasons for each of the 6 episodes, which I think will be really cool, but then also introduced hero skins. So for example, maybe we have an episode 3 season where we have Anakin and Grievous as the new heroes. We bring in one hero ship or villain ship and a new planet with new maps like Mustafar or Utapau or Coruscant. And then we do like an episode 2 season where we have Obi-Wan and Jango Fett, or Obi-Wan and Dooku, and we bring in Geonosis. That would actually be really, really cool, because with a lot of the Clone Wars era maps, usually it's the droids. Actually, it's always the droids, at least for the Galactic Assault maps, that are leading the offensive. With a Geonosis map, we could get the clones leading the offensive. You could play as the ATTE, which I know a lot of people want to do, and we get another map with Phase 1 clones, because right now the only map that has Phase 1 clones is Kamino. That would be pretty darn cool. So we'll see as the game continues to add more content. But overall, like I said, I really enjoyed this game. It's a lot of fun, especially playing in the prequel era again. Finally, it's been too long. I played the original Battlefront 2 quite a lot, and there are things that I think this game has done even better than that original Battlefront 2. Not that it's bad. That game was amazing. But this game, I think, is almost on par, or even on par, depending on what they do with it in the future. So we will see. So that's going to wrap it up for this review. If you want to see some more Battlefront 2 content, check out my video where I'm playing as a droid tri-fighter on the Ryloth map for Starfighter Assault. That was a very good game. You get to hear some of the different audio elements and see the visuals that they just really nailed with this game. Plus, it was a really good game and probably my best game I've ever had. So go check that out. And with that, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. Click like if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, click dislike. I like the feedback. And I guess with that, enjoy The Last Jedi. It's coming out, so we'll see what happens. Please, please, please do not send me any spoilers. I'm trying to go in clean, and I'm not going to be seeing the movie until the Tuesday after it comes out. So give me a break. But expect, like I said, a prequel references video for the first time in over a year to come out after the video. I'm very much looking forward to making that video. So with that, guys, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the new Star Wars movie, and may the Force be with you always. P.S. I'll let you finish watching the rest of this gameplay and watching me die a few times, so enjoy some assault on Kashyyyk.
transport.
Defend the MTTs. Defend.
MTT hit.
Multi-troop transports are crossing checkpoint 2.
Incoming disruptor fire. MTT hit. Enemy disruptors effective. MTT damage. The clones are shooting a transport.
You called for a bounty hunter.
Assistance has arrived.
All forces, prepare to attack! I can handle myself.
New enemy detected. Supreme threat. MTT reporting heavy damage. Damage to one transport.
Both MTTs at checkpoint 3.
Transport hit. Circuit shorting. severely damaged.